Hey everybody, Amy Poehler here, ready to talk about something near and dear to my heart: communication. Now, you might be thinking, Amy, why communication? Well, let me tell you, it's the secret sauce to almost everything in life. Whether you're trying to make a new friend, impress your boss, or just get your point across in a heated debate, communication is key. It's not just about talking, it's about connecting, understanding, and sometimes even reading between the lines. You know that thing we do with our mouths and our bodies and sometimes even our eyebrows? It's all part of the grand tapestry of human interaction. Think about the last time you had a really great conversation. What made it so memorable? Was it the words, the gestures, the shared laughter? All of these elements come together to create a symphony of communication. Turns out it's kind of a big deal. When we communicate effectively, we build bridges, foster relationships, and create understanding. It's like magic, but real. And the best part? It's a skill that anyone can learn and improve upon. You don't have to be a natural-born speaker to be good at it. With a little practice and a lot of heart, you can become a communication superstar. Whether you're trying to win over a crowd, Leslie Knope style, nail a job interview, or just order a pizza without accidentally asking for anchovies, the worst, good communication can make or break you. Imagine walking into a room full of strangers and leaving with a bunch of new friends, or acing that job interview because you were able to clearly articulate your strengths and experiences, or simply getting your pizza order right because you communicated your preferences clearly. It's all about making those connections and ensuring that your message is received loud and clear. Think of it like this: communication is like the glue that holds everything together. It's the invisible thread that weaves through our daily interactions, binding us to one another. Without it, we'd be lost, floating in a sea of misunderstandings and missed opportunities. It's what allows us to share our thoughts, our feelings, and our dreams with the world. Without it, we'd all be running around like chickens with our heads cut off. Imagine a world where no one could understand each other. Chaos, right? We'd be stumbling through our days, trying to make sense of the confusion around us. But with good communication, we can bring order to the chaos, clarity to the confusion, and harmony to our interactions. And nobody wants that, especially not the chickens. They have enough to worry about without us adding to the confusion, so let's do them a favor and get our communication game on point. After all, it's not just about talking. It's about listening, understanding, and responding in a way that makes sense to everyone involved. So buckle up, Buttercup, because we're about to dive headfirst into the wonderful world of communication. Get ready to explore the nuances of verbal and nonverbal cues, the power of active listening, and the art of crafting a message that resonates. It's going to be a wild ride full of insights, tips, and maybe even a few laughs along the way. Get ready to laugh, learn, and maybe even improve your social skills a little bit along the way. Because at the end of the day, good communication isn't just a skill, it's a superpower. And who doesn't want to be a superhero in their own life? So let's get started and unlock the magic of communication together. First things first, let's talk about listening. It's one of those skills that everyone thinks they have, but few actually master. You see, listening isn't just about hearing the words that are being said. It's about understanding the message behind those words, the emotions, the intentions, and the context. It's about being present in the moment and giving your full attention to the speaker. I know, listening can be boring, especially when the topic isn't something you're particularly interested in, but here's the thing. Even in those moments, there's value to be found. By actively listening, you might catch a detail that sparks your interest or provides a new perspective. Plus, showing that you're engaged, even when you're not thrilled about the topic, builds trust and respect, especially when you'd rather be talking. We all have that urge to jump in and share our thoughts, our stories, our opinions. But sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is to hold back and just listen. It shows that you value the other person's input and that you're not just waiting for your turn to speak. But trust me on this one, folks, when you truly listen, you open up a world of possibilities. You gain insights that you might have missed otherwise. You build stronger relationships because people feel heard and understood, and in turn they're more likely to listen to you when it's your turn to speak. Listening is like the secret sauce of good communication. Just like a well-balanced dish, a good conversation needs the right mix of speaking and listening. Too much of one and not enough of the other, and the whole thing falls apart. But get the balance right, and it's a recipe for success. Think about it. How many times have you been in a conversation where the other person is just waiting for their turn to talk, not really paying attention to a word you're saying? It's frustrating, isn't it? It feels like you're talking to a wall, and no matter how important your message is, it just doesn't get through. It's like talking to a brick wall, right? No feedback, no engagement, just a blank stare. It's one of the most disheartening experiences in communication. And yet, so many of us are guilty of doing the same thing to others without even realizing it. Don't be that brick wall. Break through those barriers and make a conscious effort to listen. It might take some practice, but the rewards are worth it. You'll find that your conversations become more meaningful, your relationships stronger, and your understanding of the world around you deeper. Active listening means really tuning into what the other person is saying, asking clarifying questions and showing them that you're engaged. It's not just about nodding along and pretending to listen, it's about being genuinely interested and invested in the conversation. It's like magic, I tell you. When you actively listen, you create a connection that goes beyond words. People can sense when you're truly paying attention, and it makes them feel valued and respected. It's a simple act, but it has a profound impact. People love it when you actually listen to them. Who knew? It's one of the easiest ways to make someone feel appreciated and understood. So next time you're in a conversation, remember to listen up. You might be surprised at what you learn and the connections you make. Now that we've covered the listening part, let's move on to the equally important and slightly more fun part, talking. Speaking your mind is an art, and like any art, it requires practice and finesse. It's not just about opening your mouth and letting words spill out. It's about conveying your thoughts in a way that others can understand and appreciate. Because what good is communication if you can't even get your point across? Imagine you're in a meeting and you have a brilliant idea. But if you can't articulate it clearly, that idea might as well not exist. It's lost in translation, buried under a pile of unclear words and mumbled sentences. When it comes to speaking clearly, it's all about finding that sweet spot between sounding like a robot and mumbling like you're auditioning for a role as a background character in a zombie movie. You want to be engaging, but also understandable. Use your words wisely, my friends. Think before you speak. Consider the impact of your words and how they will be received by your audience. Are you being clear? Are you being concise? Are you getting to the point without unnecessary fluff? Choose words that are clear, concise, and to the point. Avoid jargon and overly complex language that might confuse your audience. Remember, the goal is to be understood, not to show off your vocabulary, and for the love of all that is holy, please enunciate. Enunciation is key to being understood. It doesn't matter how brilliant your ideas are if no one can understand what you're saying. Speak slowly and clearly, and make sure to pronounce your words properly. Nobody wants to play a game of charades just to understand what you're saying. Clear communication is a gift to your listeners. It shows respect for their time and attention. So next time you speak, remember to be clear, concise, and to the point. Your audience will thank you. But wait, there's more! Because communication isn't just about the words we say. Oh no, my friends. It's also about all that other stuff, our body language, our facial expressions, even the way we stand. Think of it like this. Your body is a walking, talking billboard for your thoughts and feelings, so you better make sure it's sending the right message. Stand tall, make eye contact, but not in a creepy way. And for the love of all that is good, please stop checking your phone every 5 seconds. It's rude, it's distracting, and it's making you look like you'd rather be anywhere else but here. Section 5, putting it all together, communication cocktails for every occasion. So now that we've covered the basics, let's talk about how to put it all together. Because communication isn't one size fits all, you know? What works in one situation might be a total disaster in another. It's like making a cocktail. You need the right ingredients in the right proportions to create something truly delicious. Too much of one thing, and you've got a recipe for disaster. Section 6. Practice makes perfect, or at least less awkward. Now, I'm not going to lie to you folks. Mastering the art of communication takes practice. Lots and lots of practice. But the good news is, it doesn't have to be painful. Think of it like learning to ride a bike. Sure, you might fall down a few times. Okay, maybe more than a few times. But eventually something clicks. And before you know it, you're riding around like a pro, feeling the wind in your hair and the sun on your face. Section 7. Communication mishaps. We've all been there. Let's be real for a second. We've all had our fair share of communication mishaps, those moments where you wish you could just rewind time and say it all over again. But hey, that's life, right? The important thing is to learn from our mistakes and move on, because the more we practice, the better we'll get at navigating those tricky communication waters. Section 8. The Power of Good Communication, from Water Cooler to World Changer. In all seriousness, though, good communication is a superpower. It can help you build stronger relationships, advance your career, and even make a difference in the world. Think about it. Every great leader, every inspiring artist, every successful entrepreneur, they all have one thing in common. They know how to communicate their vision effectively. Section 9. Go forth and communicate. And don't forget to like and subscribe. So there you have it, folks, my crash course on mastering the art of communication. Now go forth and communicate your little hearts out. And while you're at it, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to my channel for more amazing life advice. Stay classy.